On September 22, 2025, the Supreme Court issued a divided emergency order allowing President Trump to fire FTC Commissioner Rebecca Kelly Slaughter. This move, though temporary, signaled the court's willingness to reconsider the independence of federal agencies. The case began when President Trump fired 2 Democratic FTC commissioners, directly challenging the bipartisan structure meant to insulate the agency from political pressure. By testing a 90-year-old legal precedent, the administration is pushing for greater presidential control over independent agencies. The Supreme Court's use of the shadow docket to permit the firing, even briefly, suggests a possible shift in the balance of power between the executive branch and independent commissions. The court will hear full arguments in December, setting up a pivotal battle over the future of agency independence. This case is about more than one commissioner. It's about the very structure of American governance. The conflict centers on the 1935 Supreme Court case, Humphrey's Executor v. United States, which established that Congress can create independent agencies and protect their leaders from at-will presidential removal. The court ruled that the FTC, performing quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial functions, required insulation from political interference. This precedent enabled the rise of agencies like the Federal Reserve and SEC, ensuring stability and expertise. The Trump administration now argues that the FTC wields significant executive power and should be under direct presidential control. Overturning Humphrey's Executor would erase the distinction between independent commissions and executive agencies. If the president can fire commissioners for any reason, agency independence would vanish. The outcome could redefine the relationship between the White House and the federal bureaucracy. The stakes are nothing less than the future of how American laws are implemented and enforced. After President Trump fired Slaughter and Bedoya, Slaughter challenged her removal in court. A district judge ruled in her favor, citing Humphrey's Executor, and ordered her reinstatement. The administration appealed, but a divided appellate panel upheld the lower court, stating only the Supreme Court could overturn its own precedent. Facing defeat, the administration made an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, asking to both allow the firing and reconsider Humphrey's Executor. Chief Justice Roberts issued a temporary stay, letting the firing proceed while the court considered the case. The Supreme Court's emergency order set the stage for a high-stakes December showdown. What began as a personnel dispute has become a constitutional battle over the limits of presidential power. The nation now awaits a decision that could reshape the federal government. The Supreme Court 6-3 split exposed deep divisions over presidential power. The conservative majority, without detailed explanation, sided with the administration, hinting at support for the unitary executive theory, presidential control over all executive agencies. The administration argued that modern agencies like the FTC are too powerful to remain independent. In dissent, Justice Kagan warned that the court was upending decades of settled law through an emergency order, risking regulatory chaos and undermining public trust. She argued that agency independence is essential for stability and expertise, and that the majority's move prejudged a case with sweeping implications. The dissent framed the order as a radical shift, not a routine procedural step. The court's decision to act before hearing full arguments has only heightened the stakes. The Supreme Court's final decision could fundamentally alter American governance. Overturning Humphrey's Executor would let presidents fire agency heads at will, politicizing agencies like the Federal Reserve, SEC, and FCC. Supporters say this would increase democratic accountability and efficiency. Critics warn it would erode safeguards against politicization, threaten regulatory stability, and invite cronyism. Agency independence protects technical expertise and impartial enforcement. Its loss could destabilize markets and public trust. Confirmation battles for agency heads would become even more partisan. This case is more than a legal dispute. It's a battle over the soul of the administrative state. The outcome will define the balance between presidential authority, congressional power, and independent governance for years to come.